morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very exciting segment today here on Australian Indian Radio. And it's the 14th day of March. Well, half the month's gone already. We into the third month of the year and half the month's gone. And today it is 24 degrees and sunny and a beautiful day, I must say, right here in Brisbane. Well, we've got lots to get through today. Tomorrow we will have a very special interview with Swami Atmeswarananda of Vedanta Center to talk about the upcoming Harmony Day. And Harmony Day is what is really, really needed in today's society with all the things that is going on around. But today, the biggest news, the breaking news is the Oscars deal. All the three prime ministers, Anthony Albanese and of course the UK Prime Minister and US today announcing that deal. So let's look at that deal. First up, we have our Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
From early in the next decade, Australia will take delivery of 3 US Virginia-class nuclear-powered submarines. This is the first time in 65 years and only the second time in history that the United States has shared its nuclear propulsion technology, and we thank you for it. We are also proud to partner with the United Kingdom to construct the next generation submarine to be called SSN AUKUS, a new conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarine based on a British design and incorporating cutting-edge Australian, UK and US technologies. This will be an Australian sovereign capability, built by Australians, commanded by the Royal Australian Navy and sustained by Australian workers in Australian shipyards, with construction to begin this decade. Australia's proud record of leadership in the international nuclear non-proliferation regime will of course continue. We will continue to adhere to all of our obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and the Treaty of Rarotonga. Our agreement unlocks a set of transformative opportunities for jobs and skills and research and innovation in Adelaide and in Barrow-in-Furness, in Western Australia and here in the United States. Opportunities that will shape and strengthen and grow Australia's economy for decades and create around 20,000 direct jobs for Australians from many trades and specialisations. Engineers, scientists, technicians, submariners, administrators and tradespeople. Good jobs with good wages, working to ensure the stability and prosperity of our nations, our region and indeed our world. Our future security will be built and maintained not just by the courage and professionalism of our defence forces, but by the hard work and know-how of our scientists and engineers, our technicians and programmers, our electricians and welders. For Australia, this whole-of-nation effort also presents a whole-of-nation opportunity. We will work with the state governments of South Australia and Western Australia to develop training programs that equip Australians with the skills they need to fill these jobs, today, in the years ahead, and for generations to come. A journey that will strengthen the bonds between our nations. As friends, as peers, as leaders, we embark with great confidence in the capacity and creativity of our people, with optimism in the power of what our partnership can achieve, and with an unwavering conviction that whatever the challenges ahead, the cause of peace and freedom that we share will prevail.
And very well said, and of course we know this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, and the only country left out there was France, and that deal that went sour, but it is good to see that Australia, UK and US have come together for this. Right now, let's hear from the Prime Minister of UK.
We'll provide the world-leading design and build the first of these new boats, creating thousands of good, well-paid jobs in places like Barrow and Derby. And we will share our knowledge and experience with Australian engineers so they can build their own fleet. Now, our partnership is significant because not just are we building these submarines together, they will also be truly interoperable. The Royal Navy will operate the same submarines as the Australian Navy, and we will both share components and parts with the US Navy. Our submarine crews will train together, patrol together, and maintain their boats together. They will communicate using the same terminology and the same equipment. And through AUKUS, we will raise our standards of nuclear non-proliferation. This is a powerful partnership. For the first time ever, it will mean 3 fleets of submarines working together across both the Atlantic and Pacific, keeping our oceans free, open, and prosperous for decades to come. Joe, Anthony, we represent 3 allies who have stood shoulder to shoulder together for more than a century. 3 peoples who have shed blood together in defense of our shared values.
And very well said, Tanik, there, because of the shared value that in a 3 powerful nations, Australia, UK and US. Well, right now, let's hear it from the President of US, Joe Biden, where this deal is been taking place and being announced.
With the support and approval of Congress, beginning in the early 2030s, the United States will sell 3 Virginia-class submarines to Australia with the potential to sell up to 2 more if needed, jump-starting their undersea capability a decade earlier than many predicted. But the ultimate goal isn't just selling subs to Australia, it's developing something new together. We're calling it the SSN-AUKUS, this new state-of-the-art, conventionally armed, nuclear-powered submarine that will combine UK submarine technology and design with American technology. And I want to reiterate again, the SSN-AUKUS will not have nuclear weapons. It'll become a future standard for both the UK Royal Navy and the Royal Australian Navy. It'll meet Australia's defense needs while bringing our militaries, our scientists, our engineers, our shipbuilders, our industrial workforce, our countries closer together, closer than ever. These subs are powered, not nuclear-armed subs. They're nuclear-powered, not nuclear-armed. Australia is a proud non-nuclear weapon state and is committed to stay that way. These boats will not have any nuclear weapons of any kind on them. Each of us standing here today, representing the United States, Australia, and Great Britain, is deeply committed to strengthening the nuclear non-proliferation regime. We've undertaken this project working hand in glove with the International Atomic Energy Agency and with Director General Grossi. Australia will not produce nuclear fuel needed for these submarines. We have set the highest standards with the IAEA for verification and transparency, and we will honor each of our country's international obligations.
There you go, you've had it firsthand that these subs will be nuclear powered, but they will not have nuclear weapons, or they will not be armed with nuclear destroying capabilities, but they will just be powered by nuclear power. So, well, there you are, made it wide and clear, because Australia has been very pro anti-nuclear weapons. Well, right now, right here, what is going to happen if Queensland law passes that girls will be held for longer?
How will these changes, if passed, result in more girls being locked up for longer?
Thanks for having me, Gemma. Look, one thing's for sure is that the Strengthening Community Safety Bill will not keep Queenslanders safer. What it will mean is, through the introduction of the breach of bail offence, that children will be criminalised for things that are not criminal behaviour, things like being on the street at night or not turning up to an appointment.
So it's the breach of bail being made an offence that you say will see the numbers rise and the flow-on effect will come from that.
It is absolutely the case that Queensland already detains more children than any other jurisdiction. In Queensland, we have double the amount of girls in detention than any other jurisdiction, and we know through the introduction of this new law that we will see those numbers climb because the bill is geared towards putting more children in prison.
So the girls at the centre of all of this, can you tell us about those already in the system? So their ages, their backgrounds, history, and the type of crimes that they've been committing?
Look, we know that there are girls as young as 10 being held in watch houses and prisons in Queensland. These girls have predominantly committed offences such as theft and public order offences. Most of these girls are survivors of crime themselves. They have experienced significant trauma, abuse and violence in their own lives, and their problematic behaviour is associated with that trauma they've experienced. So clearly, if we're going to support girls to no longer exhibit that problematic behaviour, we need to get to the root causes.
And Indigenous girls are already overrepresented. Will that be further exacerbated under these changes if passed?
We know that First Nations children and girls are already overrepresented in our criminal justice system. So, of course, this will have a disproportionate impact on First Nations children. It beggars belief that this bill was introduced at on the same week as our path to treaty bill, and it flies in the face of our Close the Gap commitments.
Yeah, tell us about the Hear Her Voice report from the Women's Safety and Justice Task Force, what it recommended and also what the Queensland Government then committed to.
The Women's Justice and Safety Commission, through the Hear Her Voice report, did provide some detailed information about the current situation of girls in detention in Queensland. It said that that girls in watch houses were being held for long periods and that they were being denied access to basic things, so medical treatment and even hygiene products.
Mm-hmm. So the legislation is to be debated this week. You're not the only voice calling for changes here, but what impact can you have at this point?
It's really important that we return to the purpose of this legislation, which is community safety. Of course, all Queenslanders want to feel safe, and so what we should be doing is applying that lens to anything that the government is going to do moving forward. We need to use evidence to inform strategy, and we know that the younger children are, when they come into the contact with the justice system, the more likely they are to be harmed and to go on to have further problematic behaviour. It's absolutely the case that we need an alternative to the criminal justice system for children under the age of 14, and any reform should be accompanied by a commitment to take younger children out of the justice system.
I must agree with that, and sorry for that, a little bit of a bad lighting on that clip there. But the point is that we need to make sure that justice is delivered, but in a fair and equitable manner. And that is the key, and fair and just. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, because I'm just mindful of the time as well, so we will go right now straight to our Daily India report.
Welcome to the Daily India report, which brings you reports, interviews, features and more on India and the Indian diaspora. Indian entertainment industry rocked the world, winning 2 Oscars at the famed Academy Awards. Indian film RRR's song Natu Natu won an Oscar in the Best Original Song category. Indian documentary The Elephant Whisperers also won the Oscars in the Best Documentary Short category. The Natu Natu song from the S.S. Rajamouli's magnum opus RRR won the Oscars in the Best Original Song category. It made history by becoming the first Indian film to win an Oscar for Best Original Song. After leaving a remarkable impression in several global spaces, the song created history by winning big at the 95th Academy Awards. Natu Natu defeated songs like Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, Hold My Hand from Top Gun, Maverick, Lift Me Up from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once to win India's 9th Oscar. RRR is the first Indian film in over 2 decades to be nominated for the Academy Awards, while Natu Natu was the first Indian song to be nominated at the Oscars. Composed by M.M. Keeravani, the energetic anthem was also performed at the Academy Awards. Keeravani accepted the award in a musical fashion, describing the song as the pride of India and greeting Oscar audiences with the Namaste. The song was performed live on the Oscar stage by singers Rahul Sipligunj and Kala Bhairava, accompanied by a dance troupe. Guneet Monga's The Elephant Whisperers bagged a well-deserved nomination in the Best Documentary Short category. The short created history by winning the award this year in the category. The film is 41 minutes long and premiered on Netflix on December 8, 2022. The Elephant Whisperers was nominated in the documentary short film category alongside Haul Out, How Do You Measure a Year?, The Martha Michelle Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. The Elephant Whisperers was directed by Kartiki Gonsalves and produced by Guneet Monga. The Elephant Whisperers is a short documentary film about the heartwarming story of a couple who have been given an orphaned elephant, Raghu, to look after. The story follows Raghu's recovery and survival, weaving a beautiful tale of unconditional love and bond between the couple and Raghu. Apart from this, All That Breathes was also nominated for Oscars 2023. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has dedicated the permanent campus of IIT Dharwad in the state of Karnataka to the nation that was developed at a cost of over 850 crore rupees. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on March 12 inaugurated the permanent campus of the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Dharwad, in the state of Karnataka. The foundation stone for the institute was also laid by him in February 2019. Developed at a cost of over rupees 850 crores, the institute currently offers 4-year BTech programs, interdisciplinary 5-year BS-MS program, MTech and PhD programs. IIT Dharwad is an institute of national importance established by the Ministry of Education, Government of India in 2016, under the mentorship of IIT Bombay. Academic activities at IIT Dharwad commenced in July 2016 in the Transit campus, located in the Water and Land Management Institute next to the Dharwad bench of Karnataka High Court. IIT Dharwad has progressed steadily and currently there are 856 students, 73 faculty members who have more than 400 publications, R&D sponsored projects worth rupees 30 crores and 32 MOUs to their collective credit. The permanent campus is located in Dharwad on 470-acre land allotted by the Karnataka government. The GRIHA or Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment Council has given a 5-star rating to the IIT Dharwad campus for a large development master plan involving designing and constructing a green, smart and world-class campus with state-of-the-art infrastructure. India and the US have relaunched the India-USA Commercial Dialogue, focused on building supply chains, facilitating clean energy cooperation, talent development and post-pandemic economic recovery for startups and small businesses. After a 3-year hiatus, India and the United States have relaunched their commercial dialogue to discuss supply chain issues and agree upon a semiconductor partnership initiative. US Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo and India's Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal jointly addressed a press conference on March 10th at the India-USA Commercial Dialogue. The dialogue focused on several emerging areas including building supply chains, facilitating clean energy cooperation, talent development and post-pandemic economic recovery for startups and small businesses, As part of the commercial dialogue, an MOU was signed to establish semiconductor supply chains and innovation partnerships. Both India and the US recognize that the startup ecosystem and small businesses are the lifeblood of both nations. The MOU will pave the way for greater collaboration and coordination between the US CHIPS Act and India's Semicon program. India and the US will coordinate and collaborate on the implementation of their respective programs and the manner in which incentives are given to companies. A new working group as part of the commercial dialogue was also launched to facilitate the partnership. On the occasion, Goyal said, "One of the successful things in this dialogue was signing the Memorandum of Understanding on the semiconductor supply chain." Raimondo praised India for its incredible culture and thanked Goyal for hosting the US delegation and showcasing the nation's culture. She said it was an incredible opportunity for her to experience Indian culture, making the country a special place. Goyal also thanked Raimondo for the US support to India's G20 presidency and said he was confident of significant outcomes coming out of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. The Indian Navy is ready to acquire Made in India 200 BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles to be equipped on all the frontline warships of the Maritime Force. In a major success for the Make in India initiative, the Indian Navy is going to place orders for acquiring more than 200 BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, which would be equipped on all the frontline warships of the Maritime Force. The Indo-Russia joint venture company has recently carried out test firings of the missile with a high level of indigenous content and is also going to equip the missile with an indigenous seeker too. According to senior officials, the Indian Navy proposal to acquire more than 200 of these BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles is at an advanced stage and is expected to be cleared by the Defence Ministry soon. The acquisition will also help the Indian Navy to stock the missiles in its arsenal, which are deployed on warships as well as part of the mobile coastal missile batteries of the force. The missile system has made significant advancements in the last few years, after the Indo-Russian joint venture company increased its strike range from 290 km to more than 400 km. The indigenous content in the missile system has also been increased and many of its systems have been upgraded and indigenized to increase the participation of Indian industry and manufacturers. The missile system is also being exported to the Philippines. The Philippines Marine Corps personnel have also undergone training at the BrahMos facilities in India, and more of their batches are going to be trained here. Former captain of the Indian cricket team, Virat Kohli, showed his best at Ahmedabad as he ended the drought for a century by scoring his 28th test ton in the 4th test against Australia on March 12th. India's prolific batsman Virat Kohli notched up his 28th test 100 on March 12th in Ahmedabad. The former Indian captain ended the drought of tons in the longest format of the game with a century against Australia in the first innings of the 4th day of the final test of the 4-match series. The last century by Virat Kohli in Test cricket came against Bangladesh in 2019. Since then, it took him 41 innings to bring up the 28th. Virat got to 3 figures in the post-lunch session as he clipped Nathan Lyon toward a deep square leg and took a single to bring the magical 3-figure mark. It was also his 8th 100 against Australia, which helped him equal the long-standing record of Indian batting legend Sunil Gavaskar. Kohli stands third on the list of most Test hundreds against Australia with 8 triple figures in 24 matches. Master blaster Sachin Tendulkar leads the list with 100 centuries against the Aussies. T-Series has unveiled a new love song titled Jadui from Ranbir Shraddha starrer Tu Jhuthi Main Makkaar. Ranbir and Shraddha Kapoor starrer film Tu Jhuthi Main Makkaar was released on March 8th in theatres, and it has gathered some great reviews from the audience as well as the film critics. Post the release of the movie, the producers have unveiled a soulful love song called Jadui from the film. Crooned by Jubin Nautiyal, it is composed and penned by the famous composer-lyricist duo Pritam and Amitabh Bhattacharya respectively. The video song begins with showcasing Ranbir Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor living the most blessed time of their life with their family. Both the actors can be seen spending precious time with all the family members. Shraddha, being the daughter-in-law, gets pampered by all the family members. She also gets pregnant and the entire family takes care of her. Towards the end, Ranbir and Shraddha also get blessed with a baby. Jadui, Tu Jhuti Main Makkar, Ranbir Kapoor, Shraddha Kapoor, Love Ranjan, Pritham Jubin Nautiyal, Amitabh Bhattacharya. Directed by Love Ranjan, the film is produced by Love Films and T-Series. Tu Jhuti Main Makkar also features Anubhav Singh Bassi, Boni Kapoor and Dimple Kabadia in significant roles. That's all for this bulletin of the Daily India Report.
And thank you very much, Simran, for that report. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been wonderful having your company today here on this episode. And don't forget that tomorrow we will have a very special interview with Swami Atmeswarananda of the Vedanta Center, talking about the upcoming Harmony Day, which is much needed in today's day and age. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all for today in this segment. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from us.